Hey everyone, welcome to this course of Introduction to Python Programming. I, the course instructor of this course, Kiran Navle, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication at KK Wag Institute of Engineering Education and Research. So in this course is made for those people who have interest in learning Python programming. It is applicable from student level to a person who want to become machine learning engineer or data scientist. So this course will take you through the basics of Python programming and will help you to get dive into the Python programming. I hope this sounds good. So let us understand what we will learn in the course. So in this course, you will be understanding fundamentals of Python programming, means features of Python programming. You will understand the storage of data and manipulation of data. You will understand different control statements in programming. You will be able to utilize inbuilt function and user defined functions. Then you will understand list in Python and various operations on it. And at the end, you will understand one of the important package in Python, that is Numpy. The structure of this course is divided into 5 chapters. In first chapter, you will get an introduction of Python programming. In chapter 2, you will have an overview of lists and we'll do some operations on list. Then in chapter 3, we will perform control statements in Python. So there are 3 control statements: if, while, and for loop. Chapter 4 will take you through help of functions and how to write program with functions and writing the script with functions. So you will understand how to create user-defined function under chapter 4 with some exercises. Chapter 5 will take you through the NumPy package. Now, this course is divided into 2 sections. So in first part, we'll be covering basics of it through the presentation, and in second part, after every chapter, there will be a practical assessment. So I hope that you will have better programming skills at the end of this course. So for doing this thing, we need a laptop, and second, we need integrated development environment. As an ID, we're going to make use of Google Collaboratory. It is not necessary to use Google Collaboratory. You can use any other distributions like Anaconda. In that, you can have Spider ID or Jupyter Notebook. That is entirely your choice. So there are various distributions, but as far as this course is concerned, we'll be focusing on Google Colab. So I hope you will enjoy the course. Have a fun. So let's get started. Let's meet in the course. Thank you. Welcome to our first assignment, practical assignment of Introduction to Python Programming. First, we'll take an overview of variables in Python programming. For doing this assignments or for executing various commands in this, we are going to make use of Google Colab. Google Colab is a platform which is provided by Google for developing Python-based applications. That's a simple thing. So you just have to type Google Colab and your drive. Let's say this is my drive. In this drive, you can go in Google Drive. You can simply click New and you can go in more option. So here you can see that along with your Google application, it will show you this Google Collaboratory. So this will open Google Collaboratory for you. And now you can save this Google Colab. So by default, this Google Colab will be saved with untitled. So you can give any name. Let's say demo one. So you can, if you want to give demo one, you can type that demo one. And by default, it is stored as IPython notebook. So you can rename it later on. And so we know that we will be using IPython shell to execute the command. So here these are what IPython shell where you can type the command, you can execute the code step by step, or you can write number of lines in one go also. So that is also possible. If you have to download it, you can just go here and you can start downloading this Python file. So you can see that this program file can be downloaded. So you just go in this download option. And when you go in download, you will see options that download this as IPython and .py. So you can share, you can download it and or you can send it to anything. So when you save it with file extension, it will be treated as script, and when you save it as .ipython notebook, it will be treated as ipython notebook. Apart from this, this gives more ease to this. So let's say if you want to share it with amongst your community, you can share it just like sharing the documents on Google. Sharing is also possible. This is the reason why it becomes more easy for us to share this. Now let us go in the detail. If you have to create new file, so you will always go in file option. You will create new file. I told you that. And you can save it in your Google Drive folder. Then you can see various options, edit view. Then there is setting option here and other details that you will practice later on. So let us start executing some simple command. So if I want to understand variables, I will write a equals to 2. Then I can run this option. So if I run this, you will see that the statement is executing, and here you can see that it is getting connected to this. So this is executing it on cloud. So it will take some time depending on your internet connectivity and speed. You can see that the machine learning algorithms which needs high processing power, for that you need GPU. Sometimes they may not be available with you. So you can have this, or you can use shift enter option that will take you to the new line. Now I have stored 2. If I enter a, so if I type a, I can see that the value of a as 2. In scripting, we'll have to write print statement. So we have written print. If I pass value of a, so you should get value of a, that is 2 in this case. So this is how you can start developing your own IPython notebook, and you can download it and you can share it to other people also. Now I have created some files, notebook files for easy understanding. So let us execute it. So chapter 1 will cover the assignments related to chapter 1. First it starts with variables. So if I have stored this a equals to 2, let us execute that. A equals to 2, that means value of a will become 2 here. If you print value of a, you will see that result as 2. So if you want to modify a to some different value, let's say 5, you can type a equals to 5 and you can execute this line, and later on you can execute this value. So you can see that the output of this print line is 5. So this is what simple statements in this. Let us do some stuff. Let us perform addition of two variables. So let us assign 3 to a and 5 to b. So let us use a equals to 3 and b equals to 5 statement, and a plus b stored in this. So result of this will be c, and here we are going to print it. So let us execute this. So now if you print the value of c, you will see that result is 8. If you want to see the type of it, so we are going to write type A, and if we pass it to this, it will print the type. So this has printed the result as C, which is containing 8 value. If you type the print type of A, it will return the type of A. In this case, it is integer, so it has written this result as integer. Now let us understand second data type in Python, that is the string. So strings are stored with this double quote. So we have assigned this Kiran to this variable x. So x is string type of variable, y is kkw. So x and y are of string type. So let us execute. So x will contain Kiran and y will contain kkw. And if you just type command x, you will see that the result of this is Kiran. And if you just type y, you will see that result of this is kkw. So this is string data type. So you can combine two strings also. If you want to add any other line, you can simply just type this and you can insert a new line here. So you can just go in this code or you can insert new line. If you want to combine two strings, it is very easy. You can see that if you type x plus y and if you execute the code, you will see that two strings have been combined. So combining two strings is very easy compared to other two languages. And that's the reason why people say that Python is simple to understand and it is more specific to its application. Next, data type is Boolean. So here we have stored Boolean value variable z, which is storing true. And if you print the value of z, so z has to return true. Next is floating data type. So here we have stored a to 3.14, that is the floating value. And if you execute a, we'll see that value of a is floating type. And if you want to see the type of a, we are going to execute a command type of a which will return float. So based on this, we can perform various operations. So in the next part, we'll continue with the remaining notebooks. Welcome to this chapter 2. In chapter 2, we're going to learn about list in Python. After completing this chapter, you will have understanding of list in Python. Then you'll understand how to create list in Python. Then we will perform some manipulation operation and slicing in list. So let us start. So first let us understand what is a list. A list is used to store a data type, or it is a collection of various data types, integer, float, string. We have seen variables in the earlier lecture that variables can store only one type of value, but list can store values of different data types. So lists are one of the four built-in data types that we have discussed. Lists are created using a square bracket, and lists are called through a variable name. We will have to create a variable name and then we can store values in a list. So let us try to understand list with the help of an example. So here we have created a variable ABC equals to, in square bracket, we have written three elements of string type: apple, banana, and cherry. All these three are string data types, but no doubt it can store string, float, or any other type of data. So basically, list can contains heterogeneous data together. If you print ABC, we will get an output in the result section as this: ABC, banana, and cherry. If you want to find the type, we'll have to write type in bracket ABC. So it will return us the type of ABC, that is a list. So let us have a more detail of list. Here, let us take a second example. In this, we have created a list B, which is containing four elements. One, then second element is apple string, then third element is float, and fourth element is cherry. Now, if you want to find the first value of it, so all the elements in list are indexed from 0, 1, 2 onward. So if we type print b of 0, this will return us a value 1. So this will output of this print b of 0 will be 1. If we print b of 1, so at the first location apple is stored, so it will return a string apple. Next is we will perform slicing operations. These are required for machine learning applications and other kind of stuffs also. So in this case, we have created a list which is containing 1, 3, 12, 2, 44, 6, and 23. And we know that for slicing, that means we want numbers between a particular range. We will have to type the name of list variable A in square bracket A start colon end. So start is inclusive, but end variable is exclusive. Let us take an example. If we type A2 colon 6, so the elements from second location, that is here 0 index, first index, and 2. So from 12 onward, the numbers will get printed till what? 5, because 6 will not be concluded. So the last location of the number will be fifth location. So here you can see that from second, that is it will start with 12, this 2, 44, and 6. So the output of this A2 colon 6 will be 12, 2, 46, and 6. If we type command A colon 4, so it will show us the numbers which are starting from 0th location to the third location. So it will display us 1, 3, 12, 2. So the output of this A colon 4 is 1, 3, 12, and 2. If we type A2 colon, it will display the numbers starting from second location, that is this 12 onward. So it has displayed 12, 2, 44, 6, and 23. So for more details, we'll practice it in Google Colab. Welcome to this second session of chapter 2, where we are going to do list operations in Python programming. So we know that lists are containing the data of variable data types such as integers, float or string, a boolean. So here we have created this list and it is a IPython notebook in Python. So let us create an notebook here. So let us create an ABC name variable. So ABC is a list type of variable which is storing 3, 4 and 5. So with this ABC will get created. So let us execute this on your Google Colab. So you can either use Shift Enter or you can click on the run option depending on your convenience. So it will take some time to execute the things. If you want to execute all the lines, you have to go in the run and run all. That will also do the things. If we want to understand it step by step, so here you can see that we have typed this ABC, and now let us do one thing. If you want to print value of ABC, you can write a command like this ABC shift enter, that will display the contents of ABC 345. So list is containing 345. If you want to see the first element, so we know that the list are indexed with 0 1 2 3. So location 0, the value at location 0 is 3, at location 1 is 4. So if I want to access the value at location 1, I'm going to type it as ABC square bracket 1, so it will return 4. So this is what you can see it here, ABC 4. Then let us modify this. So if you want this list, let us create one more list which is storing a character and string and two integer types. So this is how we can see them. So list is containing variable data types here. So that has been shown here. So you can execute this command line by line. Now we know that we can perform slicing operation on the list. So if you want to access the element, let's say from the last location, the list are indexed with this -1, then -2 and -3. So if we type a b of -1, that is going to return the value which is present at this third location. So if you type ab -1, this is giving you this 3 as a result. If you type ab -2, this is -1 location, this is -2, it will give you this -2 location. So let us do slicing operation on the list in detail. So we have created a variable lab and now it is containing elements 1, 4, 5, 6, 8 and 9. So if I do slicing, so in slicing we have seen that this is a starting point which is inclusive and this is the end point which is exclusive. So if we type it as lab 2 colon 5, it will start the displaying the values which are from second location, that is 0, 1, 2, that is from 5 onward till fifth location, third, fourth and fifth, but fifth is exclusive, so it will display us 5, 6 and 8. So this is the output of this. Let us execute this code. So you can try these codes at your place as well. So it is giving us error 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What is that error? Let's see that. Lab is not defined. So we have not, I think, defined the lab. So let us run this section first. So you'll have to run this and later on you will can execute the code. So it is necessary that when you try to access lab, before that lab has to be defined or this statement has to be executed. That's why that error came. Now if I want to display the values till the fifth location, but fifth is exclusive, so it starts with the 0th location and we'll get the first 4 values. So it will display us this 1, 4, 5, 6 and 8. So let us execute this statement. So if I want to display the values from second location, we're going to write it as lab 1, that means from this 0 first location onward it will display all the values. So let us execute this. So you can see this. If you want to modify these things, I will be providing this thing to you. You can practice more. If I write 2 colon onward, so it will display the values from second location. So you can always hit shift enter or you can run the option. So again let us have this option and let us change the values between 0 to 2. So if I want to manipulate the data, that is 0 to 2, that means 0 1. So I want to change the values at this 0th location and 1 location. So I have written this 0 colon 2 and now new values are 9 and 9. So we want this values will get replaced by 9 and 9 or new values. So let us execute this statement and let's see. So here you can see that this first and fourth in earlier lab, now they are being replaced with this 99 and the result is shown here. So likewise, you can perform various operations, right? Slicing operations are given. So if you want to delete some numbers, you can write delete lab. So delete is a function and lab means a list. Delete the 0 and 1 means you're going to delete the first two elements. So let's say these two elements you want to delete. So you can write delete 0 and 1. So these two elements will be deleted and finally you will get the string which is 5, 6 and other things. So let's execute that. So if you want to see the type, you can type command, you can use type function, you can pass lab. So we know that lab is a list type. So this function has written as list. If you want to see the maximum value, you can pass lab to that max function. So max function will return the maximum value, 9 in this case. So if you, apart from this, there are various functions in Python. So you can type them. So let's say if I want to have round function, so this is just an help that how can you use round function. So if this is 1.678 and I want to round this figure to 2 digits after this decimal point. So I want data 1.68. So it has taken this word 1.67 is considered. It is more than 5. So it has rounded it till next digit, that is 1.68. So 7 is replaced with this 8. So in Python, there are so many functions. So if you want to take the help of it, so you can write that help and max. And here you can see the documentation available. If you want to take the help of round function, you can use this help round. So you can see all the things. Okay. Apart from this, there are various functions you can perform on the list. It is up to you at what level you want to practice. So we recommend you to do more practice. Lab, if I want to see the count, how many times this 8 has occurred into this. So we can see that 8 has occurred only one time. So if I want to see the count of a particular digit, I can write lab count and number. So it has written me 1. So once it has occurred. So if you want to see the index, at what location 6 is located, 0, 1, 2, then this. So you can see that the 6 is located at third location, 0, 1, 2 and this. That's why it has written you the location of index, that is 3. So in Python, you will see that other things like exclude. You can see other things like if you give the string name, you can print my name, that is Kiran. And if you want to capitalize it, you can just write capitalize function. So these are what various things that you can do. So in this assignment, I hope you have understood list and you can start executing this list and you can perform some operations on list. For more practice, you will modify the code. Thank you. Welcome to this chapter 3 of Introduction to Python Programming. In chapter 3, we will understand control statements in Python programming. Here, after completing this module, we will have an understanding of use of if else and nested if else statement. Then we'll take an overview of while control statement, and at the end, we will have an overview of for loop statements. Now, why we use control statements? In programming scenario, we'll come across testing some conditions like a particular number is greater than another number. If condition can be used. If we have to compare two numbers, we'll come across if else. If we want to print numbers from 1 to 5, we'll have starting point and end point. Or we'll want to execute the code till something is right or some condition is true or false. So in those cases, we will need you to use if, while, and for loop. So use of all these loops at appropriate condition is very important. So after this lecture, you will understand it in detail. Now let us start with the if else statement. So if statements are used to test the conditions. So if we have two numbers, for example, A and B, and they are containing some values like 3 and 4. So if we want to test whether they are equal, we are going to have a condition whether A is equals to B. So we'll write if A equals to B. Second, if we want to see that A and B are not equal, so we can write A is not equals to B. So if third case is A less than B, next case can be A less than or equals to B, A greater than B, or A greater than or equals to B. So these are the test conditions between two variables. So to judge these things, we will make the use of if statement. So let us take
An overview of if statement. If statements have three parts: if else, nested if else statement. So let us take an overview of if statement. So in this case, if statement is used to check a single condition. So here in this code, we have assigned value of 40 to variable a of integer type. Then b is assigned with 30. And now we are writing this control statements if then condition. So if is a keyword, a greater than b colon. So if this condition is true, what will happen? A is 40 and B is 30. So A greater than B is true. If the condition is true, then the section which is written after this colon will get executed. So after this, we have written a statement print A is greater than B. So this print function will print it. In this case, the condition is true. So the result of this statement is A greater than B. Next, if there are two choices, let's say we have A equals to 200 and B equals to 300. So we have to print whether B is greater than A or B is not greater than A. So here A is 200, B is 3300. So if we write if B is greater than A colon, after this we'll write that if the condition is true. So in this case B is 33 and A is 200. So condition is false. So this will not execute this print B greater than A statement. Instead, it will move to the next section. So it will jump to this else section. So now else means if the condition is false, it will print B is not greater than A. This is correct in this case. B is 33 and which is not greater than A. So the output of this will be B is not greater than 33. So when there are two choices, in that case, else statement will be executed. In Python programming, indentation is very important part. So once you type if B greater than A colon, enter, automatically it will take you to this print. So indentation is important. If you type this print somewhere here or after giving some space, it will give you an error. So you will have to follow the indentation. This is the note for the course, and it will be applicable for all other control statements as well. Next version of if else is else if. So in this case, we will use a keyword else. So here we have assigned A to 33 and B to 33. And let's say we want to write a code where we want to see that B is greater than A or B and A are equal. So we'll write it in this way that first we'll check between A and B. So if B is greater than A, we'll write a condition B is greater than A. Else F, you can write a condition. We want to see that whether they are equal. So for that, we will write A equals to B. So in this case, A is 33, B is 33. So A equals to B is the right condition. So it will execute what? A and B are equal. So program execution will start from this. If B greater than A is false, so it will not execute this line. Now it will jump to else if condition. And you can see that in elif condition, A and B are same. So this condition becomes true. And that's why the result of this will be A and B are equal. This printf statement has been executed. Next control statement is nested if else. If there are more than two conditions, we are going to make use of nested if else. So in this case, we want to see that which number is greater or what is the condition between A and B. So there can be three scenarios. B can be greater than A, or B can be equals to A, or A can be greater than B. So these are the three conditions. So for this, we have written the condition if B is greater than A colon, we'll write B is greater than A. Else, if both are same, that is A equals to B, we'll write a condition print A and B are equal. And third, else if else we'll write A greater than B. So in this case, the value of A is 200. So first two conditions, that is B greater than A and A equals to B are false. So it will execute this else condition and it will print A greater than B. So the result of this code is A greater than B. You can execute this code on Google Colab. So we'll be doing practice later on. Next control statement in Python is while. So while is used when you have to perform some operation till some conditions. So it will have three parts. First one will be initialization. So here you can see that initialization, second condition, and third is increment or decrement and statements. So first, in initialization, let's say we want to print numbers between 1 and 5. So we are going to initialize I equals to 1 and we'll write a condition while I less than 5 colon. So while is a keyword and I less than 5 is a condition. So we have written this I less than 5 because we want to print I as long as it is less than 5. So I is less than 5 and we have to start from 1. So I is initialized to 1. Then we are going to print value of I. So if the condition is true, it will jump into this section, it will print I, and later on it will increment value of I by 1. So in this case, you can see that initially I is 1. So I is less than 5. So 1 is less than 5. Condition is 2. It will print 1. Then I will become 2. 2 is less than 5. It will print 2. Then I will become 3. 3 is less than 5. It will print 3. Then I will become 4. 4 is less than 5. It will print 4. And finally, I will increment. So I will become 5. So this will again check the condition here. But then 5 is less than 5. No. So 5 is not less than 5. So it will come out of the loop. In this way, our result of this code will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, control statement in Python programming is for loop. So for loop is alternative to while loop, but for loop has its own significance. A for loop is used for performing some operation iteratively. So we can combine various options in for loop. So in this case, we have taken this fruits. So fruits is a list here. So you can see that this fruits has three list elements: apple, banana, and cherry, which are of string type. And if we write this for loop. So for writing for is a keyword. Then you have to write a variable name x in fruits. So for x in fruits, that means this x will point to fruits. That means this x will have access of all the elements of this list fruits. So if we type this, what will happen? For x in fruits, we have written this statement print x. So it will start printing the value which is at present at 0th location, first and second location. So first at 0th location, apple is there. So it will print apple. Then it will move to next location, that will print banana. And in third location, it will print cherry. Now the for loop can be used for other applications also. So if we have a range, so in this case, you can see that the for loop is combined with this range function. So you can see that for x in range 4. So you can see that so x has a range of what? 0 to 4. So 0 to 4, but 4 is exclusive. So you can see that x will range from 0 to 3. That means it will contain total 4 elements. So for x in range 4, if you print x, what will happen? So in this section, value of 4. So between 0 to 3, you're going to print the elements. So the output of this code will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we can modify that code, so if we have to type welcome 4 times, what we'll do, we'll write for x in range 4. So x will range from 0, 1, 2, 3. So this statement or this colon, after colon, this statement, whatever we do, will execute for 3 times. Not 3 times, 4 times, starting from 0 till third. That means this welcome will get printed 4 times. Next, we will modify this for loop to the next value. So for x in range, so instead of printing the numbers from 0, let's say I want to print the numbers from 1 to 8, and I want the numbers to get printed with the difference of 2. That means after printing 1, I want the second number with addition of 2. So I want 1 plus 2, that is 3. Next, after 3, I want 3 plus 2, 5. So I have given starting point and end point, and I have given an increment or decrement operator, the gap with which we can print the elements. So you can see that between 1 and 8, the numbers printed here are x, that is 1 is starting, then after 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, and it will not move to 8 because 8 is the last condition. So this is how for loop can be used. For more practice, we'll be using the Google Colab. Stay tuned for more details.
Welcome to this chapter 3 of Introduction to Python Programming course. In this chapter 3, we are going to do some practical session on control statements in Python in Google Colab. So we know that control statements are used to test the conditions. So we have various conditions in Python programming. Sometimes it can be true condition, false condition, or sometimes we can have a range. So we have various, what we say, controlling statements: if else statement, nested if else, while, and for loop. So we're going to do some practical session on it. So let us begin step by step. So let us first understand if statement. So first let us do this code that if I write a equals to 2 and if b equals to 5, and if I see that condition, I'm going to write if a keyword and a condition. So a greater than b is a condition, colon. After colon you can write some section. So whatever you want to do, you can do that. So you can write this: if I want to print, if a is greater than b, I want to say that I want to print b, or I want to print 7. It is up to me. So I have printed 7. So here in this case, the condition is false. So what will happen? It will not go anywhere and it will not print anything. That's why you see that result is incorrect. But if I modify the value of a as 12 or 122, you can see that if you execute the code, now the condition is true. So it has done this. If statement is used when you want to perform something. If you want to modify the condition, let's say you want to display welcome letter. So if the condition is true, let us welcome, right, let us print the welcome. So that will execute. So that will happen. Or you can say that if this is right, you can print a is greater than b or a is big. So whatever logic you want to write, it is your choice. In this section, you will have to write. So when you go here, the important thing is you have to use proper indentation. When you type this, after that immediately hit the statement. So you will execute this in this way. So you are going to follow the indentation. Now let us test if for this condition. If you want to see whether two things are matching or not, so let us do that thing. So if 2 is equals to 2, so 2 is equals to 2, condition is true, that is, it will print the right option. If I write this, if the condition is not true, it will not execute anything. So this is what its statement or equality condition. Similarly, you can explore it too for more options. Now let us take an example of it. So sometimes there can be two conditions. Let us see that if you have to compare two numbers. So I have stored a as 2 and in b we have stored value as 3. So if we want to see which is the largest number, if a is greater than b, we'll say that print the largest number, else print b. So in this case, a is 2. So this will check the condition. 2 is greater than b? No. So condition is false. It will not execute this if logic. What will happen? It will jump to else and it is going to print value of b. So in this, we have seen that it will print b. So if we execute the code, it is going to print b. So if I type a as 12 or 122, let us execute the code. You can see that here a is greater than b, so it has executed this and it has not executed else statement. Similarly, you can keep on executing the code. If there are three conditions and we want to print the largest number. So we have taken three numbers, a as 8, b as 3, and c as 1. In order to print the largest number, what we have done is we have used the use of nested if and else statement. So first, if condition is written, if a is greater than b colon, then we'll print value of a if it is true. So in this case, a is greater than b, that is right. It is going to print a. Or second condition is if b is equals to c, or we'll write that if b is equals to c, we want to print b. So that condition you can execute, else you can write print. So whatever logic you want to perform, you can perform it as per your requirement. So if there are more than two conditions, you are going to make use of if, and else. But here you have to write elif. So that thing you need to take care. So we have seen three versions. First if statement, if else statement here, and the third is if else. For more understanding, you will have to do more practice. Now the next control statements in Python programming is for statement. So we know that for is a statement. When you want to do something repetitively, we're going to use for statement. So for I in range of 4. So we have used a variable I and which has a range of 4. So this range will be starting from 0. It will contain 4 elements, but 4 is exclusive. So it will display the value. So you can see that if you write this for I in range of 4, you can do some logic and you can print. If you want to print the values which are in range of this, we'll write print I. So I will range from 0 to 3. Let us execute this code. So if you type here 5, it is going to print the values which are from 0 to 4. This is how you can do that. Now, this for loop can be extended for doing some other things. In this case, let's say we don't want to print this value. So instead, let's say we want to print this welcome letter three times. So we have written this for I in range of 3. So 0, 1, 2. So it will execute till 3 times and it will display this welcome 3 times. If you want to do it for 4 times, you can make the change in code and you can execute this till 4 times. This is how you can execute the code. Now let us see the example of this. So let's say we want to find the sum of first three natural numbers, first three numbers which are starting from 0, 1, 2, that is 0, 1 and 2. The sum of this is 3 and we want to get the result through the computer. So we have initialized or we have declared a variable sum for storing the result. Then we have started with this for I in range of 3. For I in range of 3, that means it will take 0, 1 and 2, and we have then written a statement sum is equal to sum plus I. So every time what will happen, sum is 0, sum will become sum plus 0. First it will be 0, then I will increment, I will be 1, so sum will be earlier value of 0 plus 1, that is 1. Later on I will increment again, I will become 2, so 2 plus 1, 3. So it is going to print the sum in this way. Okay. So if you want to print the values not starting from 0 to this, so we'll have to modify the code. So in that case, we'll write it as 1. So we want the sum of first three natural numbers between 1 and 3 in the range of 1 and 3. And we have written this one. So let's see the result. So here you can see that. So we have started with the first value and third. So first number is 1, then 2 and 3. But 3 is not included. So if you want to find the sum of three numbers, you will have to write 4. 4 is exclusive. Now we will see that we will add the sum of the numbers between 1 and 4. That is 1, 2 and 3. Sum of this 1, 2 and 3 is 1 plus 2 plus 3, 5. So it should written as 5. Sorry, it is 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3, that will be 6. So correct. So 4 is exclusive in this case. So this is how we can use for loop. Then next loop in Python programming is while loop. While is used when you want to do some task repeatedly. It is alternative to this for loop. So in while there are conditions like initialization. Then second is condition. If the condition is true, it will go into this and this is increment. So there are three conditions again: initialization, then condition, and increment or decrement. Section, this is the logical part that depends on your requirement. So in this case, let us see that if I want to display welcome, sorry, hi letter for three times, I have initialized I to 1. So while I is less than equals to 3, it will print hi. So initially I is 1, so 1 is less than equals to 3, it is right. So it is going in this section and it is printing hi. Then I will increment, so I will become 2. Again, the new value 5 will be 2, so 2 is less than or equals to 3, it is right. So it is going to print again hi one more time. Then I will become 3, so 3 is less than equals to 3, again it goes inside this. So it will print this hi one more time. So you can see that it has printed hi for 3. When I becomes 4, 4 is less than equals to 3, this condition becomes false, so it will come out of loop. And as there are no statements here, the program will terminate there. So this is how you can execute this code. Now, if you want to print the numbers between 1 and 6, 1 and 6, so you are going to write this condition as while I is less than equals to 6, I is initialized to 1, and you're going to print value of I. And every time you will increment I by 1. So let's execute it. If you want to print, if you want to include 6, so we will modify the condition I less than equals to 6, it will print all the numbers. So this is how we can make the use of for loop, sorry, while loop. So next is let us combine for and if statement together. So we have created a variable vowel, it is storing a string AEIOU, and we want to see that we have created another letter powerful. So powerful is another string, and we want to see that which are the vowels present inside it. So we'll see use if condition. So if vowel which, let's say a I O is present in this, any one of this word is present, so we'll print that. So if I in, so for I in powerful, that means I will start indexing from P O all the locations 0, first, second, third. And if this is true, sorry, From this, it will start executing. And now let's see condition. If I in vowel, whether I is in vowel, so I means P. Whether P is in there, no. So it will not print. Next, it will jump to O. So whether O is there, yes. O will get printed here. You will see the result as O. Next, I will increment W. Whether W is present in, so I will become W. So W is present, O will no. So it will not print that. Next, E. E is present, so it will print. And F is not there, so it will exclude. And finally, U is there, so it will print that. So this is how you can start exploring use of for loops in programming. Now there are other things in programming also. So if you want to split the message, let's say you have created a string. So this is not the part of it, but this is there. So if you create a string, how are you? If you want to split it, so you can split it into list. So for more practice, you can work on some assignments with for and if statement. Thank you.
Welcome to this chapter 3 of Introduction to Python Programming. In chapter 3, we will understand control statements in Python programming. Here, after completing this module, we will have an understanding of use of if else, and nested if else statement. Then we'll take an overview of while control statement, and at the end, we will have an overview of for loop statements. Now, why we use control statements? In programming scenario, we'll come across testing some conditions like a particular number is greater than another number. If condition can be used. If we have to compare two numbers, we'll come across if else. If we want to print numbers from 1 to 5, we'll have starting point and end point. Or we'll want to execute the code till something is right or some condition is true or false. So in those cases, we will need you to use if, while, and for loop. So use of all these loops at appropriate condition is very important. So after this lecture, you will understand it in detail. Now let us start with the if else statement. So if statements are used to test the conditions. So if we have two numbers, for example, A and B, and they are containing some values like 3 and 4. So if we want to test whether they are equal, we are going to have a condition whether A is equals to B. So we'll write if A equals to B. Second, if we want to see that A and B are not equal, so we can write A is not equals to B. So if third case is A less than B, next case can be A less than or equals to B, A greater than B, or A greater than or equals to B. So these are the test conditions between two variables. So to judge these things, we will make the use of if statement. So let us take an overview of if statement. If statements have three parts: if else, nested if else statement. So let us take an overview of if statement. So in this case, if statement is used to check a single condition. So here in this code, we have assigned value of 40 to variable A of integer type. Then these assigned with 30. And now we are writing this control statements if, then condition. So if is a keyword, A greater than B colon. So if this condition is true, what will happen? A is 40 and B is 30. So A greater than B is true. If the condition is true, then the section which is written after this colon will get executed. So after this, we have written a statement print A is greater than B. So this print function will print it. In this case, the condition is true. So the result of this statement is A greater than B. Next, if there are two choices, let's say we have A equals to 200 and B equals to 300. So we have to print whether B is greater than A or B is not greater than A. So here A is 200, B is 3300. So if we write if B is greater than A colon, after this we'll write that if the condition is true. So in this case B is 33 and A is 200. So condition is false. So this will not execute this print B greater than A statement. Instead, it will move to the next section. So it will jump to this else section. So now else means if the condition is false, it will print B is not greater than A. This is correct in this case. B is 33 and which is not greater than A. So the output of this will be B is not greater than 33. So when there are two choices, in that case, else statement will be executed. In Python programming, indentation is very important part. So once you type if b greater than a colon, enter, automatically it will take you to this print. So indentation is important. If you type this print somewhere here or after giving some space, it will give you an error. So you will have to follow the indentation. This is the note for the course, and it will be applicable for all other control statements as well. Next version of if else is else if. So in this case, we will use a keyword elif. So here we have assigned A to 33 and B to 33. And let's say we want to write a code where we want to see that B is greater than A or B and A are equal. So we'll write it in this way that first we'll check between A and B. So if B is greater than A, we'll write a condition B is greater than A. Else F, you can write a condition. We want to see that whether they are equal. So for that, we will write A equals to B. So in this case, A is 33, B is 33. So A equals to B is the right condition. So it will execute what? A and B are equal. The program execution will start from this. If B greater than A is false, so it will not execute this line. Now it will jump to else if condition. And you can see that in elif condition, A and B are same. So this condition becomes true. And that's why the result of this will be A and B are equal. This printf statement has been executed. Next control statement is nested if else. If there are more than two conditions, we are going to make use of nested if else. So in this case, we want to see that which number is greater or what is the condition between A and B. So there can be three scenarios. B can be greater than A, or B can be equals to A, or A can be greater than B. So these are the three conditions. So for this, we have written the condition if B is greater than A colon, we'll write B is greater than A. Else, if both are same, that is A equals to B, we'll write a condition print A and B are equal. And third, else if else we'll write A greater than B. So in this case, the value of A is 200. So first two conditions, that is B greater than A and A equals to B are false. So it will execute this else condition and it will print A greater than B. So the result of this code is A greater than B. You can execute this code on Google Colab. So we'll be doing practice later on. Next control statement in Python is while. So while is used when you have to perform some operation till some conditions. So it will have three parts. First one will be initialization. So here you can see that initialization, second condition, and third is increment or decrement and statements. So first in initialization, let's say we want to print numbers between 1 and 5. So we are going to initialize I equals to 1 and we'll write a condition while I less than 5 colon. So while is a keyword and I less than 5 is a condition. So we have written this I less than 5 because we want to print I as long as it is less than 5. So I is less than 5 and we have to start from 1. So I is initialized to 1. Then we are going to print value of I. So if the condition is true, it will jump into this section, it will print I, and later on it will increment value of I by 1. So in this case, you can see that initially I is 1. So I is less than 5. So 1 is less than 5. Condition is 2. It will print 1. Then I will become 2. 2 is less than 5. It will print 2. Then I will become 3. 3 is less than 5. It will print 3. Then I will become 4. 4 is less than 5. It will print 4. And finally, I will increment. So I will become 5. So this will again check the condition here. But then 5 is less than 5. No. So 5 is not less than 5. So it will come out of the loop. In this way, our result of this code will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next control statement in Python programming is for loop. So for loop is alternative to while loop, but for loop has its own significance. A for loop is used for performing some operation iteratively. So we can combine various options in for loop. So in this case, we have taken this fruits. So fruits is a list here. So you can see that this fruits has three list elements: apple, banana, and cherry, which are of string type. And if we write this for loop. So for writing for is a keyword, then you have to write a variable name x in fruits. So for x in fruits, that means this x will point to fruits. That means this x will have access of all the elements of this list fruits. So if we type this, what will happen? For x in fruits, we have written this statement print x. So it will start printing the value which is at present at zeroth location, first and second location. So first at zeroth location, apple is there, so it will print apple. Then it will move to next location, that will print banana, and in third location it will print cherry. Now the for loop can be used for other applications also. So if we have a range, so in this case, you can see that the for loop is combined with this range function. So you can see that for x in range 4. So you can see that so x has a range of what? 0 to 4. So 0 to 4, but 4 is exclusive. So you can see that x will range from 0 to 3. That means it will contain total 4 elements. So for x in range 4, if you print x, what will happen? So in this section, value of 4. So between 1 to between 0 to 3, you're going to print the elements. So the output of this code will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we can modify that code, so if we have to type welcome 4 times, what we'll do, we'll write for x in range 4. So x will range from 0, 1, 2, 3. So this statement or this colon, after colon, this statement, whatever we do, will execute for 3 times. Not 3 times, 4 times, starting from 0 till third. That means this welcome will get printed 4 times. Next, we will modify this for loop to the next value. So for x in range, so instead of printing the numbers from 0, let's say I want to print the numbers from 1 to 8, and I want the numbers to get printed with the difference of 2. That means after printing 1, I want the second number with addition of 2. So I want 1 plus 2, that is 3. Next, after 3, I want 3 plus 2, 5. So I have given starting point and end point, and I have given an increment or decrement operator, the gap with which we can print the elements. So you can see that between 1 and 8, the numbers printed here are x, that is 1 is starting, then after 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, and it will not move to 8 because 8 is the last condition. So this is how for loop can be used. For more practice, we'll be using the Google Colab. Stay tuned for more details.
Welcome to this assignment, practical assignment on chapter 4. So in the chapter 4, we are going to understand user-defined functions in Python. We know that function performs some specific tasks. So here we have created some functions. So let us do more practice. So let us create a function called test, and we are not passing any parameter. So test is a name, and we have to use a definition keyword def. So def and function name def, and in that we have not passed any parameter. After that we'll write colon, and you can write print hello. So if you do this code, so this function will not take any parameter, it displays hello. So this is function definition. So if you execute this code, it should not give you any error. So that means it is correct. You can see that it has executed correctly. And if you print this hello, if you now this is the second time is to call that function hello. So if you want to modify the logic, let's say welcome, so you can modify that function. So this function definition has been changed to display welcome. And now if you call the test function, it will display welcome. So depending on your requirement, you can give the logic to that function. So let us take second example. Let's say we want to add two numbers. So we have written this add function, and we have pass parameter. This is called as passing parameter. And in this function, we are doing the addition. So z is assigned a value of x plus y. And finally, we are going to print the value of z. And here, if we write add 3.4 comma 5, what will happen? You're calling the function with two parameters. So this 3.4 and 5. So here, when you call the function, it will come to function definition. X will become 3.4 and y will become 5. So it will print the value of this as z. So let's execute the code. So in this function, we have passed the parameter but not written anything. So if you want to modify the logic, so you can do the one thing. So in add, you will call that function, and in this function definition, instead of printing the result here, you are going to return the z. So z will be the output of this function. So while calling, when you call add function is going to return z, which is sum of x and y. So this value is stored in p. So if you print p, the value will get displayed. So this is called as passing parameter and returning the parameter. So we have understood three cases of functions. Next is, let us modify the code to the different value. Let us display welcome for 3 times. So we have created display function and we know the logic of displaying welcome 3 times. So we have used this for in range of 3. So it is going to execute 3 times and it will display print. And this is called as function call. So when you call this function, the program will come to this section and it will display welcome 3 times. If you want to modify its logic, you can always make some changes. So instead of 3, you can type 4 or anything. You can execute this code. If you want to execute it 5 times, you will write it as 5. Now these are few what we say other things. So you can just execute this code line by line. So I will not be putting time. So I have written a function here. You can see that print b. So print b function will print value string b, and print a function will print a. And if I want to call it, so we'll have to write some statement. How will you call that? So we're going to write it as print function. So we have to make sure that the function name in call must be the same. So if you execute it, you will see print underscore b, print underscore b. So it has given print underscore b. So this has not executed, I think. First so you have to execute this, then later on you will execute this. You can see that this is b. If you call a print a function, so you can execute that. So let's try that. So instead of print b, now you are going to call print a function. I hope you have understood the functions. For more practice, execute few more assignments and you can execute code on any problem statement. Thank you.
Chapter 5 of Introduction to Python Programming. In this chapter 5, we will understand Numpy packages in Python programming. After learning this chapter, we will have an overview of Numpy packages. We'll understand applications of Numpy packages. Then we'll understand how to create Numpy arrays. We'll perform manipulation of Numpy arrays and slicing of Numpy arrays. So let us go into the detail. What is Numpy? So Numpy is one of the Python package. So Numpy is a Python library package. So Numpy is used for working with arrays. So Numpy is sometimes called as numerical Python, so which is used for mathematical computations on array. In Python, we have list that serves the purpose of array, but we know that lists are slower compared to the NumPy. So NumPy have 10 times higher execution speed. NumPy aims to provide an array object that is up to 50 times faster than traditional list. The arrays object in NumPy are called as ND array. So it provides a lot of supporting functions in this NumPy package. Various functions related to ND arrays are available. That makes it more easy for handling the data for scientific computing. Arrays are very frequently used in data science where spread and resources are very important. Speed and resources are very important. So let us have an overview of array. So first, when we'll use any package in Python, we'll have to write one statement that you are going to import that package. So here we'll write import numpy. So we have written this import numpy as np is the optional part. So in future, instead of writing it as numpy every time, we can create a short form of numpy as np. So we'll write import numpy as np. This can be possible. So once you create an object np, here onward, no need to write numpy.array. So whenever you will have to call any function, let's say creating array, you will have to write numpy.array if you write only import numpy. But if you write it as import numpy as np, here onward, np is recognized as numpy. So you don't need to write numpy everywhere. Instead, you can write np. So let us create an array. So creation of array is very simple thing. So we'll write a variable arr array equals to np dot. So we will write this object name dot array function. So in round bracket, we will pass what array elements. So array elements are written in square brackets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the elements with array. So if you give this value of this variable array to this print function, it will print the numpy arrays. That is, the result of this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you want to find the type, so if for this we'll have to write type function. So type of a double r, and if you print it using the print function, you'll see that the type of it is numpy nd array, as we discussed in the earlier section. Now these arrays are classified into zero-dimensional array, that is scalar array, then one-dimensional, two-dimensional, multi-dimensional array. So we'll take an overview of zero-dimensional array. So for this, we'll again write import numpy as np. So array is equals to np dot array. So we have passed only one value 52, and if we print this a double r, we'll get a result as 52, which is scalar. Suppose if we want to create one-dimensional array which is containing more than some numbers, so we will have to write it as array is equals to np dot array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will create an array of 5 elements. So array indexing is done with 0th location, first, second, third, and fourth. So this is the result. If you print a double r, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you print the type of it, it will be nd array. Now NumPy can be used to create two-dimensional arrays also. For creating two-dimensional arrays, we'll have to create two arrays here. So in this array function, np.array, we have created this two array 1, 2, 3. So first array and second is 4, 5, and 6. So if you print it, you can see that this is two-dimensional array which is containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When we pass print to this array to this print function, we'll get this result as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3 is first array. This is 2D array. Next, you can perform various operational NumPy arrays. So here we have created an array A using this np.array command. So if you want to perform some operations, so we can perform various operations. If you want to see the first element, that is value present at a of 1. So a of 0 is 1, a of 1 is 2. So if you print a of 1, the outcome of this statement will be 2. Now next, just like list, you can also perform slicing operation on the NumPy arrays. So if you print a of a, then square bracket 1 colon 4, so it will start numbers printing from first location, that is from this 2 till what third location, 4 is exclusive. So this will print the numbers like 2, 3, and 4. This will be exclusive. So this will print the numbers between first and third location. Now we know that array indexing, list indexing is done in opposite way. So if I want to see the location of last number, you can write it as -1, fourth is -2, the location of 3 is -2, location of this 2 is -3, and the location of this is -4. So if I type this a -4 colon 1, you will see that the result as 2, 3. So for more operations on NumPy, we'll practice in Google Colab.
Welcome to this practical session on NumPy. In this chapter 5, we have seen NumPy. So NumPy is a package in Python which is mainly made for handling arrays operation, which is one of the important packages. So when we start using NumPy, we have to import NumPy, and we have created the shortcut word as np. Here onward, whenever we want to access some functions related to NumPy, we'll have to type it as numpy.array. Instead of writing numpy here, we can simply write np. So np is nothing but numpy. So we'll be able to access all the functions. The first statement is import numpy as np. Not necessary to use np. You can write other words also, but same word you need to follow. So in your application development, you're going to write this statement at least once. Then np.array. So you can create this np.array, which is with 3 elements. If you want to add few more elements, you can type that. And sorry, let's okay, now it's correct. Execute this. So you can see that we have created array with this 4 elements. So let us execute this. This a is with you. So if you type the print command, so it will print a. So in scripting programming, you will have to write print statement. A will not work directly. So if you want to access the element, so Array elements are indexed with 0 location. So if you type a of 0, it will return you true. So a of 0 is 2 here, and it has to return you this. If you want to find the length of a, that means how many elements are there. So in this a, there are 3 elements currently. So if you find length, so length function is used to calculate this. Now these arrays are classified into one dimensional or two dimensional arrays. Then let us take an overview of two dimensional array. While creating two dimensional array, we'll have to create two arrays. So this is the first array, this is the second array. And you can see that this is 1, 2, and 3, and this is 4, 5, and 6. So this is 2D array. It has rows and columns. So if you just execute this, so it should give you this value. And if you want to print that b, you can print that b. Now, if you want to find the shape of it, you can write b dot shape. But in scripting, you will have to write print function. So print pass b dot shape. So shape of this is 2 by 3. So it should return you this 2 by 3. So let's execute that. Next is, let us do addition of two arrays, two dimensional arrays. It can be used for matrix computation also. So first array is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have taken C. So another array C, which is also containing same value, and we are adding these two array and we are printing it. So B plus C will return the result. So all the elements will added element wise, 1 plus 1, 2, then 4 and 6, then finally 8, 10, and 12 is going to come. Sorry, 1 plus this. So let's execute the code. Now if you want to multiply two dimensional arrays, you can write this command. So you can see the result of it. Now let us do few more assignments on it. So if you have to use arrange function, what arrange function does? So arrange function will arrange the numbers between 10. So it will be used to create an array between the range from 0 to 9. So it will totally create 10 elements. So if you write arrange function, so np.arrange, it will create this array of elements starting from 0 to 9 of 10 elements. If you want to create the elements up to 5 elements, that will include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's execute that. So this is how we can execute the code. Now if you want to create an array starting from 1 and the range of it is till 9, 9 is exclusive, and if you want the numbers to get displayed with the difference of 2, so 1 will come, next 1 plus 2, that 3 will come, then 3 plus 2, 5 will come, then 5 plus 2, 7 will come, then 7 plus 2, 9 will come, but 9 you have to exclude. So this is how we can print. So you can give the range and you can give the difference at which you want to print. So if you type this as 3, you can see the change. Let's see the change and let's understand that. So I have written here 3. So you can see that 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 3 is 10, which is out of the limit. So 9 is exclusive. So you have to remember last number is exclusive. So you can write these statements in this way. So you can perform various operations. Next operation is line space. So you can execute the code line space. So np.linespace is used. So we have numbers between 0 to 1 and we want to divide this 0 to 1 in 6 what we say arrays. So we want to have what we say properly spread all these things. So 0 to 1 is divided into 6 with the difference of 0.2. So if you divide this one with 6, there will be a difference of 0.2. So first is 0, then 0.2, then 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and finally 1 is going to come. So let's execute this code. So if you want to display numbers between 1 to 20 with the range of 4, so first you want 1, then after 1 you want next element. So between 1 to 40 you have to display it in 4 values. 1, then 7.33, then 13 point something, and 20. So it is 1 and 7.33 gap is there. So this is how you can understand. Next is, if you want to create a matrix of 3 by 2 size, we can write np.ones, and it is identity matrix. So we have written this np.ones 3, 2. So you can see that with this you can create an array of 3 by 2 size, 3 rows and 2 columns, and all the elements are 1. Okay. So if you want to create next a diagonal matrix where only diagonal elements are to be present, so you can write np.diagonal, and in diagonal you have to write np.array. So this will create an array 1, 2, 3, and it will create a matrix. You can see that 1, 2, 3 is getting printed and other elements are 3. This is a square matrix. Then you can perform slicing operation on Numpy as well. So let's execute this. So first let us create an array between 0 to 9. So we have created A and we have printed it. So it displays numbers between 0 and 9. So if you want to access the second location, so you can access this as what? A of -1 and -2. So this is -2 location. So it should give you this value. If you want to print the values from first location, that is first to 7. So it should display this. So you can execute this 1:7 A 1:7. It will display the value. You need to remember that 7 is exclusive. That's why this 7 is not included. So it has displayed the values only till 6. So if you want to display the values till 4, so you're going to write this as what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 is exclusive. So before 5, whatever numbers are coming, that has been displayed. Now next is, if you want to increment, this is A, which is 0 to 9 numbers. So if you want to increment every element by 1, I just need to type a command A plus 1. So if you type A plus 1, all the elements are getting incremented by 1. If you want to multiply the elements with uh, 2 or any scale value, so you have to write A into 2. So 1 will multiplied by 2, 2 will get multiplied with the other values. So let's execute this. So you can see them. So it has taken this A earlier value, right? Not A plus 1. So A was 0 into 2, then 1 into 2, 2, then 2 into 2, 4, then 4 into 2. So this is how the numbers are being displayed. If you want to make the square of all the elements of A, what is A? So I want 0, then square of 1 is 1, 4, 6, 9, sorry, 9, 16. So I just type A square. So for this, you are going to do asterisk. So A square 2 will give you the square. So this is how you can easily make the statements in this. Compared to other programming language, you can see that making square or square root, you don't need to use function. It is very specific to its application. Now let us execute few more things. So we have created A here, which is containing this slice. If I want to find the minimum value, I can write A dot minimum. That means it will display me the minimum value of A. It is 0. If I want to find maximum value, I can type it as A max. If I want to find the mean of it, I can get this mean, which is the mean of all these values, 4.5. So if you want median, you can get the median also. Now let us perform operations on this two-dimensional arrays. So we have created A and B. So for this, let us create A and B with these elements. Let us display A, then B. So B is also having same values. So if you want to add them, so you can simply type A plus B. That's how you can easily add them. So you can see that 1 plus 1 is 2, then 3 plus 3 is 6 and 8. This is how we can add two arrays. If you want to find the transpose of A, you have to write A dot T. If you want to find transpose of B, you're going to write it as B dot T. I hope you have understood this. So thank you all.